Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Myles Jr. Did you hear me say Junior? My son will love that. He can't wait. This is Richard Myles Sr., CEO, founder, and chairman of the Minor Football League. My son gonna love that. When I say that, he's gonna love that. The MFL is brought to you by the Minor Football League. Okay, now I have my special guest on, Leslie Koroma. I'm glad he's on. I'll bring him on shortly. But first of all, I got to give praise to the different colleges, conferences that changed the season. Like you had some of the HBCU conferences. CIAA. They canceled. I think that's speaking volume for them. Also, you have the Ivy League schools. It just says a lot, and it tells people that this thing is not over. This pandemic is real, and I want people to understand that. And I don't want to see people out there catching this virus when they're not taking it serious. You got people out there with no face masks on. I don't understand that. I do not understand that. You got to take this serious. Also understand the MFL is the laboratory of change. And what we mean by that, we're giving people of color an opportunity that you don't know that's outside of college or professional football. We got a very exciting show today. Let me bring my guests on. Leslie, are you there?
I'm here with you.
Yes. Oh, man. How's the weather there in Texas?
Oh man, it's toasty. It's just hot. Texas weather. It's crazy hot right now.
Oh man, but I have to admit, I told a friend of mine, I said it's so hot, man. I saw the Greyhound bus and the dog was inside. So then that's hot. The Greyhound bus. The dog on the side of the bus. He got off the side of the bus and got in the bus. Well, I better keep my day job because I'm certainly not a comedian. Leslie looks like, what's going on? But how you been doing? Are you safe? Your family safe, first and foremost?
Yeah, we're safe. It's been crazy down here with the COVID-19, the coronavirus. The numbers are rising fast. Lots of people are dying. It's not just the numbers, the positive cases, but you have real lives being lost. So, but we're doing our best to stay indoors, and you don't have to tell me to stay indoors, stay away from crowds.
Absolutely,
because that's the best you can do for yourself. And so we're staying safe down here. Me and my kids, we're staying safe and avoiding all the crazy stuff out there. So we're good.
Well, that's good to hear because, a lot of people, they being misled. They out there, people want to go into restaurants as well as food chains with no face masks on, and they're getting indignant because when you tell them they can't enter with it. Of course, it's not, people of color, not beating nobody on the head, but, we are trying to take those precautions, and people seem like they don't believe it yet. But, we just have to understand and be safe. We want to be around to tell the story. Also, let's get into the show. Now, Leslie, I got to bring this up. And I have to apologize because I know y'all had that meeting. I think y'all did it virtual, right? the big meeting that y'all had.
Right.
And I was not able to get on. I was going to look at it, but I was doing, you know, everybody taking advantage of this social media. And it's a good thing, man, because I was on several meetings, you know. So tell us how the meeting went.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they went great. I mean, it's like I said, they're the first of its type that's ever been done on that side of the world, where bringing all the folks in the sports space together, you know, and it turned out to be an awesome event. We even had the president of Liberia who gave a keynote speech on that particular event. So
Great.
we felt like it was groundbreaking. It was an awesome event, and so we look forward to engaging. You know, we got some scheduled for October as well. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Tell the MFL Nation. I mean, it was historical, the meeting itself, but some of the things that y'all touched on is very important, because the MFL is going to be a part of that. But some of the things you touched on, can you kind of convey that to our audience as well?
Well, you know, looking at what the MFL is trying to bring to Africa, and then the fact that we're trying to establish a portion of the league on that side, we touched on a number of sports space, and especially having to do with bringing American football to Africa. And we know there are lots of natural talents out there, but you know, there's a limitation to how much, you know, of the game and exposure is out there. So we are definitely looking forward to having the league on that side, and exploring the opportunities that will come with that.
Yeah, and you know, like I say, you know, I wanted to get on there, but you know, I'm still trying to navigate through this this virus, and you know, people are taking advantage of this social media, and you know, and I always say that, I say it 1,000 times. Thank God for social media, you know, because it gives us a chance to reinvent ourselves and not just come to a complete stop. You know, gives us an opportunity to keep moving forward. So that's something that I really enjoyed. And I was on the marketing pulpit this morning. Here's up to my co-host, which is, you know, Robert Gatewood. I was on his show this morning, and we was talking about the different groups, and he had the young lady on for organizations similar to Black Lives Matter, and they there to help them make sure people of color get registered to vote. They're going to make sure that the playing field stay level in terms of, they're going to make sure the count is right and stuff. These are some things that people take for granted, and we don't talk about it, and we need people to, we need to use this platform and reach out to people, because they are there to make sure that things are fair and people are not intimidated about getting voting, because you know, in some parts of the country, it's still people out there trying to intimidate people of color about you know, this upcoming election, you know, be it national as well as in your community. You talk about your mayors and your council members and stuff. That's very important, and we have to understand change is not going to come overnight. And I tell people all the time, don't be misled, you know. And also, these so-called people want to be allies. I don't have allies. I don't. And what I mean by that, some people tell me, "Oh, we're gonna put a little black dot on our Facebook page," and they don't say nothing really, because all they're saying that you'll put a black dot there, but that's not saying how you really feel, you know. So we can't be misled by that, and all of a sudden it's good to be black. Well, I don't remember when it never was good to be black. So I just, you know, tell people, be careful of them corporations and stuff that saying that they are a part of and they want to be allies to Black Lives Matter. You know, these are some of the things that we need to stop falling for. Okie doke, I think after 400 years, we should not be falling for this foolishness, you know. And I tell people all the time, This don't fall for this. You know what I mean? If these people gonna if they really want to be true to allies, put your dollars where your mouth at. Make sure that everybody talking about they giving money to different Black minority groups to help in the community, but we want to know what communities. That's what's important. I mean, what organizations are they really Black organizations that you're giving your money to? Because people say they're giving money, but we want to hold all of these big corporations accounted for, General Mills and all. I'm saying, okay, we like y'all took Aunt Mama off the pancake box and my man off the syrup, but I mean, what are you really doing to help make this change? Do you agree with that, sir? Because
can you repeat?
I said, it's I said to you, I hate when all these different big corporations, so-called, we want to be friends and we want to help the Black people of color supporting the Black Lives Matter. We want to give so many $1 million to this, so many $1 million to that. But we want to hold them accountable. What organization you giving the money to? We want to hear from these organizations that say they receive money, because you can say you're going to give $2 million here, $1 million there, but do the organizations that actually need the money, put the money and use in the Black community, are they really receiving that money? That's something I would ask you. Do you agree with that? Because we're always saying that.
I think it's for me, one of the things I said in the beginning was when I saw all the the groundswell of responses and all these corporations coming out, expressing their support and saying this or saying that. My first fear was that it's just lip service. They just pay lip service, and I did express that I hope it's not just lip service. There's a real follow through. You want to help the Black community. Of course, there's a lot of people in the Black community that's hurting in terms of access to opportunities, access to money. Let's just call it like it is. Right. Access to money, to the things that take care of the real bread and butter issues, in terms of paying their rent, buying their groceries and things like that. So, to say you're giving $100 million for this or that, or you're helping businesses, and then you turn around, few months down the road, and you don't see no evidence of that.
Right. Absolutely.
No change. That's what I'm talking about when I say, it's I fear that it's just lip service. It's just talk. Again, we want to see a trail of how this $100 million, for example, Netflix, that they say they're going to give to the Black community, to say, this is what we're giving out. So there's that issue, and I think when all these things are all front and center, a lot of people like to come up and say a lot of to feel good and sound good.
Dog and pony
I'm not being pessimistic, but it's just what the history of it is.
Right.
I mean, they come out and when everything is hot, it's hot out there, and everybody's talking about one issue. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon. They all jump on the bandwagon. Now, if you mean to bring real change, we need to see it. We need to see that in the community. We need to see evidence of that, whether it's a community center they're building, whether it's you're going to invest in sports, you're going to invest in something that has to do with helping, the poor man out there who's suffering. Because at the end of the day, you're giving $100 million to help businesses establish. I don't know, man. It's just it's hard to. These are real promises. These are real tangible solutions to these issues. Black Lives Matter, the issue at hand, the murder of Black men and women out there. Those are real issues. And they're just not going to be. They're not going to wait just like that. It's around. It's going to be around for for as long as possible. The only thing is now they're on camera, being caught.
Right, and not that that care much. Anytime you see an officer put his foot on a man's neck and just stood there and just kept.
What's going to change?
I really.
Yeah.
They really don't care. And when you think about
it, it's something that they're used to doing. It's something they're used to doing,
and want to continue
with
doing
no repercussions.
Think about since that, how many other people of color been
He's done that before.
Absolutely,
it's not the first time they did that.
Mm-hmm. And it going on and on and on. And really, I don't really see any changes, because how many people died since George Floyd? I mean, how many? Yeah. I mean, it's continually going on because they feel that they can get away with it. But I just say we need to don't fall for what they say they're going to do, because they're not going to do anything. And as far as all these big companies, we want to see, give us some proof of the money into what organizations you are giving this money to. That's what we want to see. That's when we can see for sure that it's making a difference. And right now, it's just lip service, and I hope people don't fall for that. Oh, I'm with y'all now. I believe in Black Lives Matter. Why now? I mean, you didn't care then, so why pretend that you care now? So these are just the things that I want people to be very mindful of and not get caught up in all of it. And another thing I wanted to say, Leslie, and I hope people understand, I tell people all the time, stop championing other people's causes. Let's finish the cause that we're dealing with now instead of trying to champion other people's causes. They got their own people trying to, not that I'm insensitive to other minorities, problems, but we have our own problem. And how you expect to help somebody else when your own house is not cleaned up? So these are the type of things that I want people of color to know, and do not back up and say, well, let's go over there and help them. We haven't finished this yet. The job has not been done. Don't be misled, because right now people always getting on there talking about they're going to do this. They do matter, making little statements and stuff. Everybody can make a statement. Am I right or wrong? Anybody can throw a peace sign up somewhere, but what is the final, analysis of this? What are you really doing? And I'm yet to see people that's saying all this, like General Mills and all of the big companies. I just don't believe it, and I hope people don't believe what they're saying. These are the types of things that I want people of color to understand. What is your comment on that? Because it's, we tend to be very forgiving. People of color always been very forgiving, and the same thing happened over and over again. So these are the types of things that I'm a little up in arms about. Just like what's going on, I'm glad that these guys really want to make the difference, the change in terms of not playing these sports, and we know what the bottom line is, but I'm just thinking about these millionaires playing. I know they want to play, but is it worth it? The NBA going back and they're going to start, but is it worth it, Leslie?
Yes. I'm sorry about that. I don't know, for some reason.
Yes,
I think everybody's home. Everybody using the internet, and then so the bandwidth kind of slow in the area, so it's affecting my connection. So sorry about that. Yeah, but you were saying we're talking about paying lip service, and all these companies that are coming out talking about Black Lives Matter. Why now? I think that's an issue in itself, because obviously It didn't have to take for somebody to be murdered live on national TV, on a video, for you to mad, for you to care. You know, people have been saying this for the longest. They all knew this. I mean, everybody knew this. You know, they all knew what was going on all this time. You know, so it's like, it's not a secret. It's not something that anyone can sweep under the rug. This has been evident. It's been evident out there. It's been stuff that's been out there. But you know, everybody knows how to play the politics of it. So this is exactly what's going on right now. It's the politics of it. And so it's, for me, it's not now. It's not about what they say they're doing now. It's what's going to happen months down the road. It's what's going to happen a year from now. It's what's going to happen a year and a half, 2 years from now. Policy changes. Where you want to see actual change in what's being done, right? It's got to be in policy, the law. It's got to be legally done. So that way, a lot of people who are offenders, like the police officers, have to face consequences, right, in terms of their actions. You know, just because you wear a uniform doesn't give you a right to act, you know, willy-nilly and take somebody's life, you know, right, and think, you know, with an excuse you can get away with it. They have, just like anybody on a job that faces consequences for discipline issues, they have to face consequences for discipline issues. You know, we talk about, you know, they need extra training. A lot of people say, oh, they need to go in for extra training, community training and things like that. But I don't think that's the issue. I just think it's a culture of impunity and just doing. So there's that issue. And obviously, it don't matter how much training you give them, it's still going to be the same result. Because you know, some people, it's ingrained in them. The race, the racism, the hate, it's ingrained in some people. You just can't change it. You know, you can't change it overnight. So that's where the issue lies. Right. You
know, didn't mean to cut you off, but what do you need to train? What type of training do you expect to get, as opposed to, you know, it's wrong to virtually sit there and choke an individual to death? I mean, what training is that? How to show them how to choke them even harder is something that you should not do. So why you need training on something that you know is illegal?
It's wrong.
You know it's wrong. So I don't understand this just training stuff. That's just money going down the drain where they say, well, we need money for research and training. Training, no, wrong is wrong and right is right. So that a bunch of, you know, foolishness. But while we here still there, what do you think about the NBA pushing the play? And it's a shame because these are millionaires, not like they need the money, but we know what the bottom line is. Well, is it worth you putting your life in harm's way as well as your family? Because you could still have to go back to your family. I just think that being a bit much. What do you think?
I don't, you know, personally, I don't think the NBA is being responsible here. I think it's sort of reckless for, look, what's done is done. This season, everybody knows this is an extraordinary year. There's a pandemic out there. This season is gone. You might as well forget it and put an asterisk to it. Forget about crowning the champion for the year. It's done. You know, let's just put that behind us and allow everybody to be safe and let this stuff be behind us with a vaccine or some kind of medication that will come out hopefully by the end of the year, early next year. And then look at how, you know, they can restart the league for next year, you know, safely. Because right now, I don't care how you talk about it, you know, you play in a bubble and all that. It does. It's not going to matter at all, you know, because they still have players who are testing positive for this stuff, and they're going to. These are players who are going to be going out there mixing and mingling with other players, and it's just crazy. It's just ridiculous. You know, I feel like that's reckless. You know, I think the issue about financial side, the NBA has money. I mean, the NBA has money. The NBA has made tons of money over the years. They have billions of dollars. and I believe they have enough to cushion the effect of what's happening and how it's happened, for them to return back next year and pick up from there. You know, I hear about Kawhi Leonard did not travel with the Clippers to Orlando, and I'm in full support of players who are not going to risk themselves. Even the NFL is talking about them.
Right.
Yeah, the NFL is talking about giving players leeway on choosing whether to play or not, and all of that. And you know, I think it's a thing to do, and not trying to penalize folks out there. But the NBA has been. I don't think it's a right approach. I think they just need to cancel the whole season and put an asterisk to it. Don't crown a champion. It was an extraordinary year. It was an odd year. It's just like when the world went to the World War II. You know, a lot of things were suspended. There was supposed to be the Olympics in 1940 and 1944. It didn't happen. Two Olympics were canceled in 1940 and 1944. Nobody's crying about it. Nobody's going to cry about it because they know what was going on at the time. You know, so I don't. You know, people keep talking about the economy. Yeah, well, everybody's going to suffer. Everybody's going to feel the pinch of it. But the reality is, what matters the most? Going out there and risking your life and dying in the process of trying to make money and not being able to leave and see that money or enjoy that money, or being responsible and just give it a little more time and let the medical community come out with a medication or vaccine, and that will put everybody at ease, you know, because obviously this coronavirus is like the flu. You know, it's like the flu. It's going to come around every year. You know, we have to learn how to live with it, but with the right type of medication. Just like the flu. Go out there every year and get the flu shot. It's here every year. It does kill people, but it's managed very well. The flu is here. The flu hasn't gone nowhere.
Yeah.
Coronavirus is like the flu. It's going to be here, but we need medication for it. We need a vaccine for it. So when that gets here, then the world can pick back up and move on. But in the interim, I think it's kind of reckless for most of these sports leagues that are trying to do something, basically something out there, including Major League Baseball. Talking about a 60-game season. I think that's reckless because even with Major League Baseball, they have players who were testing positive down there in Florida for spring training. You know?
And they still
so I don't see that. I don't see that. I think that's really reckless. You know, for me personally, I think you know, you can say whatever you want to say, but folks can say whatever they want to say out there. But I think this is our reality.
Right.
There's no two ways around it. There's no two ways around it, and we just have to deal with it.
Right. And yeah, I think I got to say, bad decision on Ohio State having the players to sign waivers in order to practice. I think that is the crazy. I know if I had a son going there, my son wouldn't play. There's no way that I'm gonna sign something, say if he gets sick or whatever, the school not held accountable for it. I think that was, you know, that was the worst decision I ever heard of. I'm quite sure you was aware of that.
You were breaking up there real bad.
Yeah,
I don't mind. My connection is kind of
okay. I'll just repeat it. I was saying Ohio State having the players to sign waivers that's going to practice, and I think that was crazy. Why you have these young men signing waivers? If they get sick, then school wouldn't be held liable. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, it's just the connection.
Oh no,
is so
no problem.
Awful.
It's just what we were talking about. We were talking about the college players.
Ohio State.
Right. We were talking about Ohio State having the players to sign waivers before they can practice. Waivers now. Now you saying if anything happened to you, if you do catch the virus, then the school is not responsible because you signed your rights away by signing a waiver. You hear about that?
I still couldn't get you, but
yeah, okay. Well, you know, we're just talking about the schools and the different sports, period. You know, that I just feel that I know it's a money thing, and I know other people might say, well, what do you know about it? All I know is it worth these men going out there taking a chance playing when you can contract this virus? Those are the things that I'm talking about. I can hear you. You know, I don't know if you can hear me, but I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's like it's coming and going.
Yeah. I was just saying, if the sports need that, all of them should just shut it down. It would be the right thing to do. But then again, you know, you can't tell somebody to do with their league. But hopefully the players are smart enough to say, hey, I'm going to pass this up.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think it's going to be left up to the individual players and safeguarding their own health in their lives, because you know some folks out here just hard-headed and just not paying attention to what's going on medically.
Right.
You know, they just think this is. Some folks are still believing this is a hoax. If they still believe it's a
hoax.
It's conspiracy theory. Yeah, you know, you got some folks out there who just don't. That's what's going on down here in Texas. You know, you have all this new infection and stuff because there are folks out there who just carrying on like it's something regular, and now it's catching on to folks. You know, so and that recklessness right there is what's causing the loss of lives. And for the players, I think it's going to be left up to them to make their personal decision. You know, I see a lot of programs like the Ivy League schools. They cancel, you know, fall sports. Right. You know, just fall football, all that stuff. It's out the window. You know,
the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do. You know, this year is out. For me personally, I feel like this year is out the question.
Right.
I just feel like you know, you want to do all your preparation. This is the time to do all your paperwork and do all your inside work, your marketing scheme, design all this stuff, and get ready. You know, stuff that you had fallen back on. You can do
catch up now.
You know, yes, you can catch up now. You know, you can do all your paperwork and, you know, get all your ducks in a row. But as far as physical play, you know, I've always said that there are a few sports that can actually carry on right now, and that's boxing and MMA. If my thing with that is, because, you know, you have a boxer or MMA fighter that has just themselves in their corner,
right.
And you don't need an audience because that's just made for TV. You know, put a ring, you know, and their corners are there. But the reality is, those folks have to come in to a facility where they'll have to be tested. Then they give a 14-day quarantine and test it after before a fight. And meaning that everybody, including the officials that'll be in that particular facility, will be in the clear from start to finish. So by the time the fight's done and all that stuff is good and it's, you know, broadcast on TV, everybody will be safe. Okay. And after the fact, you know, after the 14-day test before the fight is carried on, everybody will be tested to make sure that everybody's clear. I think those are the only sports because you don't have a large crowd. You don't have basketball has 15 players on the roster. You know, football has 53 players on the roster.
Yeah,
that's a crowd.
A lot of people. Yeah,
that's a big crowd. Yeah, so that's a whole different ball game. But the sports with limited number of players in them, or which is not necessarily a team sport like the MMA or boxing, those can carry on. You know, a lot of people are just impatient and taking a chance.
They're impatient, and they don't care. They'll take that chance even if it kills them. You know. And that's the sad part of it. Not saying what people's decision they need to play. I just think that I'm just talking about people have families and, you know, you're jeopardizing your family when you take a chance and go in and play. I just hope that they be smart and, don't chase that ring or trophy that hard this year, because as you say, and I said it before, it's a wash. But let's get into inside the MFL now. We ready to talk about inside the MFL. We got we addressed some things that I said I would address, and we did. Also, the MFL, I'm very excited. Now we got it covered with 2 franchises in Texas, because everything big in Texas, you would know. But the Rams, we got an announcement that'll be coming up. We won't say it right now, but the Rams are in Texas. They're going to be in Houston, Texas. We announced that now, and we'll come up we'll let y'all, we'll surprise y'all with the GM once we get all the information through our press release and stuff. So we straight, and then East Texas, we have the Cardinals. So we pretty good there. And then Oklahoma, the Cowboys is going to be in Oklahoma. So we're excited about that. And down in New Orleans, we're going to have the Packers will be down there, Louisiana Packers. We're excited about that. And we're also excited about the Saints being in New Mexico. I see you looking and you're listening to that, huh? Was you breaking up a little bit, or did you hear everything I said? Or I can repeat it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all excited about those franchises. They have been moved, and that's where these franchises are going to be at, and we're excited about it. Also, as you know, we are interviewing. We got another interview coming up with with the franchise going. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, we was talking about the franchise. We have 2 franchises in Texas. The Rams will be in Houston, Texas. So we let everybody know that. And in East Texas, we have the Cardinals. Also, we're in Oklahoma. We have the Cowboys in Oklahoma. In New Mexico, we have the Saints. And down in New Orleans, we have the Packers. The Louisiana Packers will be down there. So we're excited about that. We're also excited about in South Carolina, the Outlaws. We're there. We have a GM in place there. And North Carolina, we have a GM in place. Okay, of course, in Washington, in place. And the Colts, they're in place. The Maryland Colts. And then up in Rochester, New York, we're in place there. We're in place we're in place in New Jersey. We definitely in place up in the we got the Steelers up there in Michigan. Steelers, we good there. We good there, and down with the Warriors down in Atlanta. So we good there. Florida, we got the Bears. We there. We straight there. Got some great GM there. Also, the spots that we only have 3 more franchises to fill, which is in Arkansas, the 49ers, and we also in place. We we got in Tennessee, we got the Patriots. So I mean, we filling up fast in terms of the GM. We got some great people in these spots that we're excited about. So we are excited about look like the MFL is definitely going to be in Houston, Texas. So I know you'll probably be excited about that when we break the news too.
Oh, big time.
Yeah,
big time. Yes. I want to say thank you to you, Mr. Myles, for giving me the opportunity, to lead the Rams down here, the Texas Rams. We're going to be right down here in Houston, Texas, and we're playing right out of Houston, Texas. And I just want to let folks know that I'll be the GM for the Texas Rams.
Oh, wow. We was getting ready to break the news to them. We were getting ready to break the news. We was getting ready to break the news. Yes, sir. Yes. We was getting ready to break the news. We were getting ready to break the news. So we also we have our VP of football operations, Mr. Kenny Lucas, that got on here. So let me bring Mr. Kenny Lucas aboard. How you doing there, sir?
I'm well, thank you. How are you today?
Hey, look, y'all won't stop coming on with these beers because I'm not doing it no more. I already did that, Dan. Hey, Leslie, I ain't doing that no more. But thanks for joining us, Mr. Lucas. We was just talking about, we can go back and fill in. We was just talking about we were glad that some of the conference and college decided not to play. And we was just saying that, the NBA is not a good move. But right now we talking about the MFL, and we had a meeting with all the GMs, and we were just pointing out. And Leslie, we just broke the news that he will be the new GM in Texas. The Rams will be in Texas, the Texas Rams. So we had to meet with all the GMs and stuff. We didn't tell them right then and there, but they gave you an opportunity. And Mr. Kenneth Lucas here, So what does that mean for Houston, Leslie?
Oh, it's great. It's a great opportunity. The XFL started down here and everything folded up, and they're not coming back. So obviously Houston has always been hungry for football, besides what the NFL offers. So we see the evidence with what the XFL was offering, and there was a really great turnout before the whole coronavirus thing happened. But what's meant to be will be. In this case, the MFL has been around for 25 years, and it's about time, it takes its right place. And I feel like this is the rightful place for the NFL. And Houston is a great city for football, and I think there'll be a huge fan following. And I think, we just have to make sure we do the right type of marketing and connect with the fan base down here, and put up some good results. Because at the end of the day, when you have a team that's on the winning side, you're always gonna have followers. Even if you don't have followers, you're gonna followers to come on board. You're gonna have some value. You're gonna have some ways for fans to follow you. Houston is a great city. Houston is quite a metropolitan area, and I think the Texas Rams will do very well down here. So I look forward to the opportunity to put things in place down here, and I'm excited, and I know definitely Houston's going to be excited about the opportunity.
Mr. Lucas, and I don't know. I know you've done a lot of traveling. Your tenure as coaching in college and collegiate. What do you think about? That was something we was touring around with this, as you know, Kenny. What do you think about Houston down there? It's going there.
As Leslie said, and good evening to you, Leslie. First and foremost, great to see you.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Nice to meet you. Yes.
I think it's without being said that the great state of Texas is a football state. So naturally, most of the cities within the state of Texas is huge for football. Houston has always provided great athletes. It's always provided great programs, even more so. So bringing Houston into the fold with the MFL, I think, is going to be a great addition, a great asset to the league.
And also, Mr. Lucas, we want you to go in a little bit, because we did make the announcement on the show, but we did have a meeting with the GMs the other day, and kind of fill them in some of the things that we're going to do. And we want the GMs to do in terms of we're going to come down and do. Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and fill that in.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Leslie, it's unfortunate to some degree you weren't involved, but we'll certainly catch you up and get you going in terms of what you need to do. I think it's great having you first and foremost again. I must reiterate that.
Thank you.
But with regard to the meeting we held recently, it was a very general meeting. We didn't talk specifics, but we did hint at some things with respect to the combines, probably first and foremost, we want to make sure when those combines are done that they're done well and that they're done right. So there will be representation from the MFL during those combines, just to make sure that there is consistency across the board, and that one city or one program is not running a combine one way and another city is running another way. So we'll always try to have representation from the MFL there at each and every one of the combines. I think that's first and foremost. So we discussed that a little bit. Some of the GMs had questions about what type of equipment will the MFL provide. So obviously uniforms will be provided by the MFL. Helmets would have to be purchased by the individual players. Helmets and shoulder pads, obviously cleats and those type of personal items will have to be purchased by the individuals. But uniforms will be provided by the MFL. We talked about that a little bit. And then we had some general conversations about what guys should be doing right now in preparation for next year. As I briefly heard you guys talking about, this season, we all know this season is a wash, much like everything else. There's some leagues and sports right now that are teetering on the edge right now, trying to test the waters, which I don't totally agree with. But, what do I know? I know very little when it comes down to it. But I think in the big scheme of things, most programs, if not all, will not have anything come to fruition until a year from now. So that gives it the MFL and you guys as general managers a lot of time to prepare, in essence, where you can get things together. You can start to lay the groundwork for the program that you're going to evolve. And it's a great opportunity to lay the groundwork so that once the green light does come, you can hit the ground running. And I think that's the beauty of where we are right now, is that we have time, and you guys have time to take your time, move slowly, put all the pieces in place naturally. And then once restrictions have been lifted and we've received the green light to go full steam ahead, you guys will be ready to hit the ground running. So that's kind of the gist, and that's the short of it. We'll certainly have more conversations moving forward. But I think right now it's about preparation. It's about starting to identify the clients, starting to identify, the season ticket holders. Dan's team, directors will come down and start to prepare there. We'll start to lay all the pieces in place so that, again, once we're up and going, this thing should hit the ground running. And you got to be excited about it. I think we all have to be pretty excited about where we are right now, knowing that we're not just jumping into something blindly or haphazardly. We're going to very succinctly take our time, lay the groundwork, put pieces in place so that when it goes, it's going to go, and it's going to go well. I think that's the ultimate goal from all of us.
Absolutely. And Mr. Lucas made the statement early. The reason we're not going to provide helmet and shoulder pad, that was a nightmare year for last. Because, them guys said they wear one size, and when they get there, they can't wear them because they got dreads and the helmet don't fit, but it's supposed to be extra large. So we don't want to get into that kind of stuff anymore. So this year we said we'll cut down things, and we're not going to do that. First and foremost, you have to get the venue, because the first thing people are going to ask, where you playing? They want to know where you're playing at. And they don't want you to say, well, we know once you get your venue, you get your business cards made, you get your backdrop, you get your, make sure that we're going to send you all the paperwork you need. And this is something that, off after the show, we're going to do even more. But Mr. Kennedy Lucas, he's the operations person to make sure everything is done right. We will fly down. MFL representation will be there, but they will fly down and oversee the combine. Dan's team, they make records. She will fly down to make sure. So you got it sweet, Mr. GM. All you got to do is sit back, get your coaching staff together. We're going to make sure that everything's in place in terms of preparing for the season. And, I think we're pretty good at this by now after 25 years, you know what I mean? So we outlast everybody, and we still here, and people still trying to figure out what is our secret. It's just being prepared and doing things the right way, and not telling people you're going to do something that you're not going to be able to do. And I always say, just be very sincere with people, and don't tell them one thing and do another one. And I have people like Mr. Lucas here to make sure that we don't, tell people nothing. Yes, I take all the credit for them. I tell everybody I'm doing everything, but everybody knows that I'm not doing all of this work. It's impossible that I would be able to do all of this. So you're back here, right? It's a collective of people in terms of what we're doing, and like Kenny been very invaluable to the organization, and things we do kind of keep me in place along with everybody else. But I'm smart enough to know that these are bad times now, and we will never put players or staff in harm's way. Because I think I don't know if we were about the third organization that said that a professional league to say we weren't going to go. And I think that was great. When you said, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that was an easy call to say we're not going. I mean, it's just, human lives are not worth the risk of any sport or any venture for that matter. I think it's a time right now that's certainly unprecedented. And us, much like most other programs right now, we just need to remain patient. I mean, we're in a situation right now where there are a lot of things that are uncontrollable. So why try to sweat over it? Why jeopardize someone's life for it? It's really not worth it. It gives leagues like the MFL and other ventures the opportunity to really prepare even more so and try to enhance what's already in place. So I think that's where we are, just trying to make things better. And I think that's the situation we're in right now. And it's a great opportunity to make things that much better so that the league shines and continues to grow.
And I noticed, we still have a little time here. I noticed Leslie eyes got real big when we say, yeah, we come to Houston, because it was two areas that we was talking about, Houston, and what was the other area down there? Leslie?
Oklahoma?
No, the other part of Texas down there. I'm sorry?
And in East Texas, home Texas?
Yeah, East Texas, we there. But there was another part. But after Leslie was talking, Leslie said, hey, wait a minute, hold it now. I'm telling you, Houston is the spot.
We're talking about San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio. So we were going back and forth. But when Leslie said, wait a minute, hold it now. I'm here in Houston, So it was an easy call, and I can see and I know the type of individual that we're dealing with, and kudos to you, someone of your caliber, and we want people that understand the significance of this. And we've been working together for a while. We talk on the phone so much. Good thing we ain't paying no telephone bill. Thank God for this social media, Les. But I just think that it was a no-brainer, and Houston, I think will be an ideal spot. I mean, I've never been to Houston. I don't know about you, Kenny. Have you ever been there, Kenny?
I actually have not been to Houston yet.
Okay, so I know it's hot, but I think we'll get a chance to find out in terms of the people. And I know a lot of people excited. We get a lot of calls from there. And of course, Mr. Thurston, he does a great job in East Texas, Mr. Arbor. We will be having these calls where we have all the gyms in, and Mr. Lucas will hand out a lot of other stuff that we want done. But we definitely going to make sure that you have everything you need to get started preparing. And the great thing about this, like I say, the fact that you got a whole year to get ready. That sounds so good, huh, Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, time, time is on the MFL side right now. It's an opportunity for everybody to put the pieces in place and to do it well. I mean, not just put them in place, but to do it well and to make it better. I mean, I think that's what any venture, any program is what you want to do. You want to get better, but you want to do it well. So, the time that's been afforded to MFL right now should be very advantageous to the growth of the league and all that it has in store. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for these young men to come out and showcase their talents. That we've said many times over, everyone can't play in the NFL. It's just not enough space. Any way you skin that cat, it's just not enough space. There's not enough spots on those rosters to accommodate. So the MFL is here as it has been, and it's going to provide that additional opportunity for these young men who so deservingly want to go out and make that venture happen.
So, we were excited about this, and I see Leslie. You got it straight now, huh, Leslie? Huh? You getting? I guess he still have the little problem with his feed. Okay, you got it together, Leslie? Huh?
Yeah, my connection is. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. No, I'm excited. Like I said, the opportunities are great down here. Houston is a great city. Has enough room. It's a great sports city, and has enough room. More football. More whatever else. But I know the MFL is going to do great down here. I'm actually on a good side of the city, over on the west side of Houston, and so I was going to go out this evening and start looking at some of the stadiums around here that will work best for the franchise down here, and that's a great opportunity, and I look forward to helping to position and put it in the right framework for success. Because that's the main thing. You have to.
And I have some
with a business mindset. Look at what's going to be best with the rest of the league.
Mm-hmm. And I have some friends down there. Ricky Sanders used to play with the Redskins. He's down there, and I have several other friends down there that played, and they used to kept saying to me, Kenny, why don't you come to Houston? You know what I mean? And I said, well, we need to find some people that we not only give an opportunity, but people that we know can do the job. We don't want nobody down there that's not going to be able to do the job, and when we're having you, we know we'll get the job done. You know what I mean, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. Houston is a great athletic town. So, certainly another football team in that area, I think, is going to only enhance what goes on there and bring more and more excitement to that town. And I think the people down in the Houston area will embrace it, and they'll come out and support it. And I think it's going to be a good addition to the program.
Yeah, so I'm just excited about this, and this pandemic, and although it's really dangerous, and people are dying from it, we telling everybody to take caution. But sometimes it's what they always say: things happen with chaos. Sometimes chaos there for a reason. Maybe the Lord say, "Hey, it's time to take a look at yourself, time to, change what you're doing. Apparently what you're doing ain't right." And sometimes trying to tell you what to do. And I think right now that people really have an opportunity to read about the MFL. And I think more and more they begin to like what they see, because we get so many people signing up. I was telling, Lucas, I said, man, I said, we got so many people signing up to this thing that, but all I'm asking, we tell everybody, when do we, I said, we're not, and I explained to them why we're not going, because we value their help as well as our staff, as opposed to going there. I realized in the South that they are opening up a little more, but they got the biggest fatality in terms of catching the virus down there, Lucas?
Yeah, it's just a bad situation right now. None of us are doctors or medical personnel. We just, as we've said multiple times, we need to be patient until there's a vaccine or some type of immediate remedy to this virus. There's no point in playing with it, because right now there's still so many unknowns, in terms of how it's being spread, how it's being infected and passed along. And yes, they're finding out more and more details every day. But the bottom line is there's still not a vaccine yet. So it's not something to play with. The numbers are not going down across the world, let alone here in the United States. But, this is a worldly concern right now. There are human lives being lost in large numbers every single day. So, when you find yourself in that kind of situation, that's when you got to park it. Hit the brakes, sit back, be patient,
right,
and let it fly by. If the country has to have a 7-day countrywide quarantine, then let's do it. If that's going to help this thing slow down faster, then let's do that. We're not getting that from the top right now. And I know 7 days seems like a long time, but 7 days compared to a life loss is nothing. 14 days compared to a life loss is nothing. So if we got to shut it down for a period of time, then let's shut it down so we can get on the better side of this thing right now, because it's dangerous. That's all. It's very dangerous right now, and we just need to park it and be patient.
I want to thank my guest today, Leslie Koroma. Welcome aboard to the MFL family, and also with Mr. Kenneth Lucas, VP of Football Operations here. And I'm your host, Richard Myles Sr. You've been watching another edition of Inside the MFL. You can contact us on our website, which is mflishere.com. We're on all the different social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Also, we're on YouTube. So I'm going to say again to y'all, you've been listening to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Myles. Thank you for my guest. Thank y'all.